Hey, we're live, and this is Adam Knackers bringing you another MLM training. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 9 killer Instagram marketing tips. Okay, now these are strategies I'm using to build a following on Instagram and generate daily leads for my network marketing business. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right in. Okay, and I'm going to actually demonstrate this as I go as well. I have my phone here that I've brought into my computer screen here, so you're gonna actually be able to look at it. In fact, let me tilt this the other way. There we go. Boom. Okay, so tip number 1, brand yourself, not your company. So to give you guys an idea of what I mean by this, because I see a lot of people doing this, they've got their like MLM or network marketing company name all over their profile. And you want to make sure that, hang on, why is this not, there we go. So like here is our profile, right? Our brand is the Globetrotting Duo. We're clearly branding ourselves. You don't see anything about a network marketing company or an MLM company or product in here because truthfully, we want to preserve the curiosity, right? The idea with marketing on Instagram is it's attraction marketing. So you want to present an attractive brand. And if you're out there with your company and your product right away, people already know that you're there to sell them something and pitch them something, right? So you want to make sure that you're branding yourself, okay? The second thing, the second tip is to make your bio attractive and really more importantly, to make sure that the messaging in your bio is very niche specific and targeting your ideal prospect. So again, if you look here, we're targeting people who are passionate about traveling and adventure and, seeing the world, right? So our bio says, quit jobs to travel in 2013, love of adventure and new experiences, want to discover how we work less and travel more, right? Like we're clearly talking to a very, very specific niche here, people who love travel, okay? We have a clear and concise call to action. So want to discover how we work less and travel more, discover how here with arrows that point down to our link, right? Which I'm going to actually talk about in a second. So then that brings me to the fourth tip, which is the website, okay? In Instagram, you can actually put a clickable link in the website field of your profile, right? So what we have put is this link that we're tracking using Bitly. Bitly is just a website where you can track your clicks, right? Which is really valuable. So one thing you want to do with your website is land people. I really think there's 2 options here. What we generally use is a capture page because we really want to convert our clicks into leads, okay? But you can also use a blog. All right, the bottom line is you want to send them somewhere that's it's called responsive, has a responsive design. So like when people land, and I'll actually show you what ours looks like. So here's ours, right? Free video training, discover the 4 steps to creating a profitable online business you can run from anywhere. Again, this is very targeted at our audience, but it's also a very mobile friendly landing page, right? You don't have to like pinch the screen to see everything. I see people using capture pages that just aren't very convenient for the user. So think about this. You're marketing to people on Instagram using mobile devices, so make sure your website is such that when people click, it's mobile friendly, right? And I do recommend that you use some type of capture page because you want to convert this person into a lead. So when I click on the button here, that actually looks like my screen went blank. Why is that happening? There we go. When I click on the button, you'll see this pops up. I can enter my email, and then that would put my visitor onto my email list, and then they would be getting my email follow-ups, all right, which is really critical to converting your Instagram traffic, okay? So let's go back to this. All right, so the next thing, hashtags. I'm going to close this and go back. In fact, let me just... Okay, so for hashtags, what I recommend, I'm just going to give you guys a really simple tip, is be very niche specific. Think almost in terms of keywords that your target market would be using, right? But another thing is don't use the really broad hashtags because what that really does is, number one, there's so much activity with those hashtags that when you post something and you use that type of a hashtag, the activity there's so much activity that you're just going to get your post is actually going to get lost in that hashtag. It'll just move through the feed so fast that people won't even see it, right? So what I suggest you do is use, there's a tool I'm actually going to show you right now called Iconosquare that can, there's a couple powerful features this has, but if you go to iconosquare.com, you can actually create an account that's connected to your Instagram account, right? And then you can search for hashtags. So like if you, like I'll search with weight loss, which is really, really broad, right? So if you search with this, what you're going to see is in Iconosquare actually return. This has a bunch of really cool features. Just bear with me. What you're going to see is weight loss is extremely broad, right? But then what you'll notice underneath is they'll give you all these other related hashtags that have fewer media. So that's basically, how much activity, how many posts there are for that hashtag, right? So I generally, try to get down to, no more than like 100,000. I'm using hashtags that are a little more targeted. Again, so that when I post something and I use the hashtag, it's not going to fly right through that activity feed for that hashtag, right? So that's kind of the idea. But just use Iconosquare as a tool for that. Then the other thing is, this brings me to tip number 6. Again, using Iconosquare, you can do something really powerful. You can actually see your statistics. So when you're logged into Iconosquare and you go to statistics, I'm going to show you the stats that I look at. So you scroll down, and on the left-hand side here, come on, my computer's being slow. You're going to see, I believe it's under optimization. Let me see. Anyways, you can play around here. There's a lot of different stats, but what I really like is this graph right here shows you when your audience, your followers are actually most active. So as you start to build a following and you're posting on a consistent basis, it's a good graph to look at because it breaks down by days of the week and times. And if you look on the graph, these little circles here, the bigger ones indicate when your following is most active. Okay, so a good thing to do is to align your posting with the activity of your followers, the times where they're going to be most active on Instagram. All right, so just another really powerful tool you can use. All right, so that was number 6. Number 7, I'm just going to recommend a couple of apps that we use that we really like. One is called Studio Design. What's cool about Studio Design is we always use our own images, but you can kind of incorporate a specific theme for the image. All right, that allows you to overlay text and just kind of theme your image in a certain way. So I really recommend Studio Design. I'm not going to give you tutorials in this video just because I want to encompass really these 9 tips. But the best thing I can tell you is with an app is just get it. It's free and play around with it. All right. Studio Design, though, has been something we use a lot to create our images. And then Snapseed is an image, is another thing you can use just to enhance like a photograph. Without going over the top. I think sometimes the filters on Instagram are just too much, but Snapseed is great for like just sharpening images that you're going to post. Then the tip number 8, post value, right? Focus on, again, this is really, in terms of like what I want to help you with this tip is the value post is really dictated by the niche you're targeting, right? Like, so for us, we're traveling a lot. So we're posting, the stuff that's going to inspire and be attractive to our audience, right? Which is really just evidence of our travels. Kristen occasionally shares quotes and tips like that, business tips as well. But for the most part, we are just posting images that reflect what we're doing, right? That we're traveling, all the places we go, because we're really trying to attract the traveling type, right? People who are passionate about adventure and travel. And one thing to do too is to limit selfies. Selfies just tend to kind of annoy people if you overdo it. Obviously here and there it's no big deal, but focus on value, inspiration. Now we have other profiles, like I have a profile that's targeting network marketers. So in that account, I share a lot of tips, like marketing tips. Okay, so just be conscious of who you're actually targeting and post stuff that's going to be valuable to them. Again, this is called attraction marketing for a reason. Now, the last thing I wanted to share with you, tip number 9, is this app called Crowdfire. So I'm going to show you how it works. I have an older version downloaded here that says just unfollow. It's now called Crowdfire. So if you just go, you know, to the, whether you're using an iPhone, go to the App Store or Google Play, the Play Store, just search for Crowdfire, okay? And then the cool thing about this app, I'm going to go to my Globetrotting Duo account here, and it has a really cool feature called Copy Followers, okay? And what Copy Followers enables you to do is, so I'm gonna type someone in who I know is very influential in my niche, okay? So that's like Nomadic Matt, his name is. All right. So when I click show, oh, it's not there. Let's see. Let me try another one. Here, like travel and leisure. All right. So when I do this, come on, why isn't it? Give me 1 second here. How about this? Wandering Earl. The idea is with this feature is to search. For some reason, it's acting funny, but I'll get it in a second. Come on. Let's do this. So Wandering Earl. Okay, so what it's going to do after I search for Wandering Earl, and Wandering Earl's he's a blogger, he's a traveler, so obviously his followers are going to be in the niche that I'm also targeting. So what I'll do then is when I see, all right, when it retrieves all these followers, is I'll look at the followers, and generally what I do is I follow between 50 to 100 people, maybe a couple times a day. If you overdo it, the app will actually restrict you. I'm not as concerned about the numbers as I am about just being consistent with this over time, right? So like you can just go through the app now and just, you know, what I would urge you to do is pay attention to the profiles. If you see a profile that just like sort of shady, you're like, it's not really the type of person you'd want to work with. Remember, you're trying to build your business here. Then don't follow them. But you can just simply click the plus sign to follow these followers of this influencer in your niche, right? And then what's going to happen is a percentage of them will follow you back. And then the other thing you can do is there is, let's see, there's all these other like features like inactive following. Obviously, if people are inactive and they're following you, you can unfollow them. If they're inactive, you don't really need to be following them. So you can do the same thing, right? Because the more you know, as your account grows, what you want to be doing is growing your followers and actually unfollowing the people who are not, you know, are not active, right? And as you do that, as you create an account where you have a ton of followers, but you're not following a ton of people, that actually makes your account more attractive. But obviously, in the beginning, you need to focus on building your followers. So I would be using this feature quite a bit, copy followers, okay? So that's really all there is to it. I'll just do a quick recap again. Number one, brand yourself, not your company. So if right now you have like your company name or product in your username and all over your bio, get rid of it, right? Come up with a way to attractively present your brand to your niche. 3, use a clear, concise call to action. And again, with your website, make sure you're linking out to like your blog or your a capture page, and make sure it's mobile friendly. Okay, hashtags. Use niche specific hashtags. I always say be more niche specific. Don't use the real broad hashtags, because those get so much activity that you're really not going to get as many eyeballs on your shares on Instagram with those broad niche hashtags. Iconosquare. Use Iconosquare to look at your stats, identify like when people are posting online, you know, when they're engaging, when your followers are engaging, so you can synchronize your posts with their activity, right? Apps, I highly recommend using Studio Design to create really awesome images, as well as Snapseed to enhance any photos that you're going to use. Again, in terms of what to post value, inspiration, testimonials. And again, be aware of who you're actually targeting. Let that dictate what you're sharing. But be attractive, share inspiration, share value, share tips. And then lastly, the app that I really strong you get started with is Crowdfire. So you can use the copy followers and the unfollow features to grow your following using that app. So with all that said, lastly, I know you got a lot of value from this training, so definitely make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then to get daily MLM lead generation and recruiting tips and strategies sent directly to your inbox, go to this link right here, adamsmlmsecrets.com. There's also a link below the video in the description. So again, just go to this link, adamsmlmsecrets.com. You can sign up for my daily newsletter where I'll be sending you free tips on how to grow your MLM using online marketing strategies that work now. So I look forward to seeing you really apply this training and get massive results in your business, and I'll see you in the next training.